You may have gathered by now that I've met some notable people, actually, and not all of it's happened in Gibraltar, but one of the things that did happen here in Gibraltar, back in the 90s it was, we discovered that they were converting on the outer part of the city an old cemetery, and they were going to turn it into a car park. This bothered me a little, but let me try to put it level. I'm not over religious. Everybody's entitled to what they believe in. But what I didn't like about this at the particular moment in time, I'd not even visited this cemetery, was turning it into a car park. We actually cherished people's lives, placed them somewhere in the earth, immaterial of how long ago it was, and I'm going to park my Volkswagen bloody Beetle on top of them. Well, I can't have this. So I had to go along and have a look. And one of the reasons I went along and had a look, because back in those days, I was a trustee for the Heritage Trust. I was the governor's trustee for the Heritage Trust. And I was a trustee for about 11 years. But I thought I'd better look into this. I am a trustee. Something's wrong here. It didn't belong to the trust, but the trust was saying nothing. When I found out what was happening, I researched the cemetery and found out it was a Church of England, what we euphemistically call Charlie Edward Church. It was a Church of England cemetery, and there was lots of different people buried in there. He said there was barons in there was dukes in there was representatives of the Americas in there, ambassadors from America were buried there. There's quite a lot of famous people there. I went to see the Dean of the Church of England here in Gibraltar. So I popped up to see the Dean and said, look, this is happening, that's happening, and I've now found out it's your graveyard. What graveyard? I don't know about graveyard. Well, we have a look around it and he finds it. It's very kind of you pointing it out, but I'm still a little bit perturbed. And I don't want it to have my Beetle parked on, some bloody baron. It's wrong at the end of the day, pardon my French, but it is wrong. So we looked at it a little bit deeper. He researched it a little bit more. And then when we found out it definitely was a Church of England consecrated graveyard, walled on top of all of that, and as silly as it sounds, when we went round it, the existing walls were still there. Silly as it sounds, they still are today while I am doing this. And here I am, nearly 20 years later, believe it or not, the Heritage Trust, which I am no longer, a trustee for, are contemplating doing something about this churchyard. I'm very pleased, I'm sure the late Archbishop of Canterbury will appreciate it. But what happened is the Dean looked into it, we slowed it down, we stopped it. And that was it. He told me, I got the plans, I filed everything like you do, and you have a tendency to forget it. About a year, 18 months later, as things would be, the Archbishop of Canterbury was coming to Gibraltar, and he was coming to consecrate, do something that was historical, whatever it was, he was coming to do it at the end of the day, and he was going to pop out and do it. And sure enough, he did, and he was here, there, he was great, he was wonderful, and everything. I finished up getting an invitation card. Invites for different things were going on all the time, and I got this little invitation card. I looked at it, and this, the Archbishop of Canterbury requests if you would attend at the Gibraltar Museum, which is just down an alley from my office in those days, at 11 o'clock on such and such a day. And I thought, yeah, well, right, he's asking, I'm going to go. Why not? Like, it's going to be good for a laugh, and everybody else is going to be there. And the usual thing, it was sort of late morning, around about 11ish. Sometimes you got drinky poos. Sometimes you just got coffee. What can I say? This is how it usually works. It depends on how the Heritage Trust, because this is how I still saw it, through their cocktail party things. Anyway, I go to work that day. I'm sitting in the office and everything. It's getting close to the time. I thought, change. Smart boy is Eric. I thought, change into my suit, put a tie on, choke yourself to death, boy. Look right, right badges, right this. Do everything perfectly well. And this has all been requested, and it's been overseen by the Mayor of Gibraltar at that particular moment in time. So I potter on down there, and the door's open. I walk in, and there's the Mayor. How'd you do? How'd you do, Eric? Yeah, we did know one another. And yeah, everything's fine and everything. I'm a bit strange, like it's 5 to 11 like that is. He's there, I'm here. Like, I'm like a fool. I turn round to the man and say, where is everybody? Anyway, we're all here. What do you mean, we're all here? He said, well, the Archbishop of Canterbury has requested to see you. And my first comment to him straight away was, what have I done? I ain't done anything. I've not thrown tomatoes or anything like that, you know. What have I done? He went, he's requested to see you, okay? I went, okay, and I thought, that's it. But before you could settle and try to get it in your mind of how it's going to go and try to tie it together, because I hadn't tied it to this graveyard at this stage, you see. That had passed some nearly 2 years ago, 18 months or so, like, you know. And sure enough, the Archbishop comes walking in, like with an entourage of about 9,000 gunmen. He comes in with his entourage. I've never seen so many priests in one place at one time. But he comes in, he says hello to the mayor. The mayor introduces him to me, so now I am important, okay? So I meet the Archbishop of Canterbury, and he turns around and he says, so you're the chap that saved my graveyard. I like the way he put it over. It was his graveyard, and so it should be, like he's the Archbishop of Canterbury. What I liked about this particular set too that we've got here is he's nowhere near England now. He's a couple of thousand miles away. He's in Gib, but he's concerned about it. So we talk about it at length. Somebody produces coffee and all this, that, and the other. There's a load of people around and all the usual thing, asking questions. Would you like to sit down? Good God, no. Like, I'd sit down, I'll never get up. My knees won't work. Shaking as it is now. You know, it's an important person at the end of the day. So we yak, we chat, we carrying on doing this kind of things. And before I know, 45 minutes have disappeared, and I've got one of those things. What quotable quotes can I have? It didn't really matter. I've just met the Archbishop of Canterbury. And he's just gone, and his entourage has gone, and I've thanked the mayor. And I'm just up the alley. I have this office, just up the alley. I thought, right, I'm hot-footed it up this alley. I dashed into my office. Nobody else in there only me. I thought, right, Gertrude is my mother, okay? Gertrude, I'm phoning you. I'm phone mother. And like a good boy, I used to always stand up, actually, to answer the phone to mother, and she would tell whether I was standing up or not. I've never been able to figure that part out. And when I have been sitting, she would actually say to me, are you standing? And I'd very quickly stand up and say, of course I am, mother, lying through my teeth. Anyway, this is the punchline of the whole shooting match. I phone mum and she's answered and she says, oh, hello, love. How are you? I'm fine, mother. Mother, ask me who I have just been having coffee with. And mummy said, who have you been having coffee with? And I say, the Archbishop of Canterbury. She said, oh, that's nice. Are you all right? And I thought, that's it. Crash and burn. And I sat down while I'm talking to mummy and thinking, yeah, okay, you made it a big thing, Eric. It's not a big thing. It's a nice thing. You did a nice thing. He's done a nice thing. You tried to do a nice thing to your mother, and like she's done all of your life, she put you in your place. Lesson learned here, always do what your mother tells you to do. Okay?